Also, Martha, is this a game changer now in the IRS scandal? Newly discovered email showed Lois Lerner zeroed in on Senator Charles Grassley for a proposed internal examination about 2 years ago. Now, for the first time, Darrell Issa wants a special prosecutor to investigate. He talked about that last night with Megan. Listen.
This case calls for a true special independent prosecutor who has the ability to issue warrants, to seize materials, to safeguard documents and other information before it goes away and get to the truth.
All right, Rudy Giuliani's former mayor of New York City and a former prosecutor as well. You're the perfect man to answer a lot of these questions. How are you?
I'm very good.
And good morning.
Good morning.
Who's securing the evidence? I mean, a lot of people are talking down there, a lot of hearings. We sit back and listen to them, but where are you getting the evidence?
Well, I'm sorry to laugh, but nobody is securing the evidence. I mean, the reality is that this is a terrible dereliction of duty on the part of the Justice Department, who supposedly was investigating this. This is the investigation about which the president said to Bill O'Reilly, there's not a smidgen of evidence of corruption. Not a smidgen of evidence. They're destroying records. It's absurd that we can't find those records. If you can't find those records, then I'd be pretty close to certain a conspiracy was going on. Because think about how emailing happens. Here's the central emailer. She emails to here, she emails to here, she emails to here, here. All of those.
All outside
boom,
the IRS.
Boom. You should be able to at least trace many of those if you have the correct information.
So you think that they're on a server somewhere and you just have to obtain. But if that's the case, who's doing that right now?
Well, I have no idea.
Why is that process not underway, or is it?
Obviously, if you want to believe the White House, the Justice Department, and the IRS, they didn't even know. They did such a poor investigation. They didn't even know that these emails were missing until they sent it over to the Congress, and the Congress noticed they were missing. What kind of investigation is going on if you don't even know that the people from which you're trying to get evidence are hiding it from you? I mean, it's the theater of the absurd. I was U.S. attorney for more years of my life, and assistant U.S. attorney than I was a mayor of New York. I investigated many complex crimes. This investigation is being done by absolute amateurs or people who don't want to find something.
Well, that could be, too. The latter point is quite valid.
Imagine the president saying not a smidgen of evidence of corruption and all these emails have been destroyed.
He may regret that comment. In the meantime, the head of the IRS was asked, what happened to the hard drives? He couldn't say. I mean, were they melted down? Were they put in a trash compactor?
I was baffled.
Where did they go?
I was baffled by his performance because he has generally, although he is a very hardcore Democrat, he has generally has a very good reputation as a sensible businessman and a guy who turns companies around. I was baffled by that arrogant conduct about, my goodness, if I appeared before Congress, even if it happened before my watch, and my agency had failed to disclose this information to the Justice Department, after all, which is a federal crime if you do it purposely. I'd be so apologetic.
To be fair and balanced, a lot of Democrats are criticizing the performance,
they are, absolutely.
Too.
They can't not.
Quick questions here. Issa talked about getting a special prosecutor. Will that happen with Eric Holder or not?
I mean, I guess you keep pressing for it. I mean, he's correct. There should be a special prosecutor. Right from the very beginning, this looked like a case for a special prosecutor. You had a high administration official who spent hundreds of days in the White House under investigation, taking the Fifth Amendment. Immediately, you suspect, can the administration investigate? And now that you have this additional information that the Justice Department has mishandled this investigation, then it is crying out for a special prosecutor.
He also suggested he give her, Lois Lerner, immunity.
I can't judge that. I mean, those decisions depend on how much criminality do you think she has. Is she the top, the bottom, the middle? I think she's sort of the middle, headed toward the top. So I certainly want to consider it.
Yeah, we put a Fox poll out last night. This is what we were asking people. I know you travel all over the country still, and you campaign for candidates, and you're raising a lot of money. But look at this number right here. Okay, we asked the question, who would you vote for come November? 42-42 among all people we asked among Republicans or Democrats. But then when we asked if you're interested in voting, it's an 11-point edge for Republicans. Now, you're out there, you're talking to people, and you got this IRS story, Rudy. Question for you. Do you believe the American public is aware of this story? Are they just catching up to this story, or are they blind to it?
The middle. They're just catching up to it. They were aware of it. Back when Lois Lerner was testifying, taking the Fifth, that sort of thing. A little like Benghazi. They were aware of Benghazi at the time that it was hot. Some of the Democratic spin on both of these, that this is just Republicans making trouble, kind of quelled it a little. I think this IRS story is coming back big time now. They cannot defend the missing emails. They can't, and they can't defend the mishandling of the missing emails. And my goodness, you have the Fifth Amendment, you have emails that have been destroyed. There wouldn't be a criminal prosecutor in the world that wouldn't say that creates circumstantial evidence that crimes were committed. Not necessarily that they were, but certainly enough to call for a very serious investigation. Who knows? Everybody may be innocent, but it certainly calls for a very serious investigation.
Good to see you, Rudy. Thanks for coming in.
Rudy
Giuliani here.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too, Martha.